Hey guys, in today's video, we're gonna turn that to this. So today we're gonna be making a compost pile out of pallets. Each of those pallets we were able to get from a local hardware store for $1. Some places you might be able to get pallets for free. So there are a couple tips we had as far as picking pallets out, because not all pallets should be used for compost pile. What are some of the tips we have for picking out pallets?
So they should not be treated wood. They can be heat treated, but they shouldn't be that like greenish color that you get when you purchase treated lumber. So usually there's a stamp on the side of the pallet. HT means heat treated. So we made sure all of these are heat treated.
And no, we're not compost building experts, but this is what we researched before we started building it. We always research before we do stuff. Well, almost always. So the first step we did was find a space along our tree line here where we could actually level out an area to put a compost pile. We're actually not leveling it out level, we're just flattening it out with the curvature of the hill. That way when we pull our tractor in here to move compost around, the tires are level with the ground, so we go level into the pile and we aren't going at angles into the pile, we just go directly into it. So it's going to be the whole compost pile is going to be at an angle here a little bit, but I didn't want to screw up our entire yard just to put it in a compost pile. So our overall design, we're just going to be using these pallets as a backing. We're going to stack these horizontally so the dirt has something to push up against. If you stack them vertically, they'll probably just fall through these cracks here. So there's still some pretty big gaps in there, so it's probably not going to be perfect, but I don't know. I guess I'll let you know what the results are. I can't tell you how well it's going to work until we actually use it. But we're going to be doing it double wide so we can actually get the tractor in between it. If we just went single wide pallets, the bucket of the tractor is 4 foot wide, and that's wider than these pallets if you stack it horizontally like that. So we're going to be doing double wide so we can get the tractor in there, move dirt around, because what we'll probably end up doing is putting the garden uphill. We could move a compost pile up there, but it's really hilly, so we figured this would be the best place to do it. And plus, when we're dumping in whatever we have from our house, it's a lot easier just getting out here and doing it here. So as you can see, sticking it just one wide, there's no way you'd be able to fit a 4-foot bucket in there. So we're going to be putting another one over here, putting a divider, and then putting another compost bin next to that. It's not going to be perfect, but through here we're just going to put in a few screws and tidy things together here. So this is the general idea. We're going to be putting the T-post in the middle behind each of these to support the actual weight going forward and backwards there. I'm not sure how wide this is going to be, but we can definitely get the tractor in here at that width. Then we'll be putting another one across here, 2 more, then 1 more. So shouldn't take us too much longer to finish this up. So in order to hold these pallets in place, we just threw these T-posts behind it. Then we're going to be wrapping 14 gauge wire around the wood and the post just to keep everything stable. That way, once we get a decent amount of weight against these pallets, they don't go anywhere. We may end up having to fill in some of these gaps with some other pallet wood or just scrap wood in between here, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so there's our progress so far. Screwing everything together, throwing in T-post. We're actually putting a T-post there in the middle as well. Then we'll go around with 14 gauge wire after we put all these in and tie them up, and we'll be about done. As you can see, the sun is setting, so we're running out of time here. So having troubles with my GoPro batteries. It's getting cold out here and they keep on dying on me. But so we got all the corners screwed in and everything. So now we're going through and tying the pallets to the post, and then we're going to be able to pretty much call it done. We ended up putting this post in the middle so it can support on either side in the middle for this one, but I think it should be pretty secure with these T-posts. So this is actually day 2 of filming this project because all the GoPro batteries that I had died like immediately once it got out in the cold. So if you're looking to buy a camera and you live in a cold environment, don't buy the GoPro. It's just not worth it. But anyways, a quick little recap. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pallets. So $7 for the pallets, and the T-post actually cost more than the pallets. I think those are about $3 or $4 each, and then 14 gauge wire. So it's a relatively cheap project when you add it all up. Oh, and of course the fasteners, the screws and everything. But we were able to slap this together in the afternoon. It didn't take too long. Of course we did pre-clear an area, try to level it out a little bit before we put the pallets in there. So we did end up putting 2 separate bins for compost, and why is that, Deanna?
You want to be able to rotate through the compost piles, so you'll work on one for a while and you'll fill it and then allow it to sit, and you'll turn it over so that it decomposes into soil you can then use in your garden. So then you'll move to the next one and start with that, you know, putting your food scraps and everything in there. So you've got 2 stages always.
So you can have 2 stages, or I've seen some people even have 3 or 4 stages, or just having 2 different piles going at once, just depending on how much compost you need. And I think we will probably add on more to this at some point, just because our dirt, as you can see down there, is not the highest quality. Doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, so we're going to have to be adding a lot to our garden once we get a garden at some point. But that's one of the main reasons we got a compost pile.
So one thing we plan to do in the future is to put doors on this to enclose it. We'll probably either use 2 more pallets for each, or plywood or something on a hinge, hopefully, if this can support that. So if we find that we're losing too much dirt through these slats, we might put like a fine mesh, like chicken wire or something like that, and just, you know, staple it to these. We'll just have to play it by ear depending on how things go.
Or maybe even a plastic. It's just something to be able to hold that dirt in there.
Yeah.
Or we could just fill in with more pieces of pallet wood in between the current slat. We'll figure something out if that happens. Well guys, that's our video for today. It's probably going to be a short and sweet one, but if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos like it. You can also check us out at
dnsadventures.com.
And as always,
adventure on.